I'm not much for scary movies. I've never liked them. I watched a few, and that's enough for me. But there are some people that are fixated in watching scary movies, and so people ask me again. People are always asking me questions. I'm kind of like a clearinghouse, and so I try to go and get the most accurate responses and answers that I can. So I tell people, look at, and I want you to clean this up. If I'm leading somebody astray, I tell people, look at, if you go to watch a movie, especially a scary movie, make sure you're prayed up. You're in a state of grace before you go in. Pray before you go in the theater. Even when you're in the theater, just pray. And also, I say, if you're going to watch a movie based on curiosity, that's not good. That's not good. Like a scary movie, just out of fear porn, what I would call. But if you watch the movie as a studious Catholic, say, I want to know more about my faith and more about spiritual warfare. And if you're watching it studiously, that if you're going to take some kernels out of that to apply to your interior life, that's a good thing. Because most horror movies coming out of Hollywood are pure garbage. All they do is display gratuitous satanic violence. They embellish and center their cameras and story on the phenomenon of the demon and its manifestations. And that's pure garbage. I don't know anybody on planet Earth that's seen more, lay Catholic, that's seen more possessions and manifestations than Kyle Clement. And yet I'm sure if I talk to Kyle, he's probably hasn't seen any of these Hollywood movies that have come out in the last couple of years. He's not interested. So Kyle, your comments as to what I've said about people going to watch these movies?
Well, I think that it goes to, you make some really good points. Number one is that curiosity is a vice, not a virtue. The virtue is studiosity, which is the pursuit of knowledge at the direction of one's superior. And here again, we're back into this area of exorcism. We've had many priests who have, out of curiosity and their own sense of self, have wanted to study. And this is why the Leo the 13th Institute, Father Ripperger's trainings, the trainings I've assisted him with, all of those require a letter from the bishop requesting the training. This puts the priest under the protection of obedience and under the protection of studiosity. Otherwise, to pursue this on one's own is curiosity. And there again, it's the psychological compatibility with the demon here is very interesting. So the angel, remember that demons were created as angels. The angel has a very deep knowledge base. He doesn't know everything, but he does know everything requisite with his mission. So everything he needs to know to accomplish his mission was infused into him as part of a complete intellect with which he was created. So the angel, once he comes up in an area that he doesn't know, then this is a point of solace for him. This is, okay, this is my boundary. This is the white line on the side of the road, and I don't need to know. God provides everything I need to know for my mission. So therefore, if I'm going over into this area, then that's out of my mission. And so this is a beautiful way that we ourselves should comport and conduct ourselves with this need to know. The demon, on the other hand, when he fell, this point of solace or contentment now becomes a point of torment, because he has an insatiable need to know, to consume information, to find out what he does not know, because that takes him beyond his created nature. And it's the same with regard to humans, as we strive for vainglory. Another way to think of it is stolen valor, when we seek to be something which we are not called to do.
Like Tim Waltz. Yeah.
Well, precisely. And so this is the idea that I want to be identified as something that I'm not. I may even myself want to pursue this information to elevate myself above my station in life, or what I am, my education, what I'm formed to do. This is, unless you're doing that at the direction of a superior, this is very dangerous ground. So no one is being commanded by obedience to go and watch horror movies. The other one, The other one is you brought it up, is the emotional masturbation, the stimulation of the emotion in the lower faculties to produce a physiological and or psychological response. And it's socially acceptable, but it's not morally acceptable to abrade the senses in that way.
Yeah, I don't think anything good can come out of cutting your teeth out of watching this over and over again on the internet or in a movie screen. I don't think anything good comes out of it. Like you said, you're not under orders from a superior to be watching this and to be dissecting it. Kyle, one of the things that Nefarious does show is something that Liber Christo has really honed this area about the psychological war that the demon wages against the human mind. And I think the movie showed very well the vast superiority of the demonic intellect as compared to humans. And you can see in the movie something that you've been teaching me for years, that the demon is constantly trying to draw us out of our lane, and he'll trigger your emotions in a disordered way. Or as Dan Schneider says it, the demon is constantly trying to get inside your wire. And so my question to you, does God allow this diabolic affliction? Does he allow this in order maybe to show us our defects? And does he allow this in order for us to work on our virtue and holiness?
Now you're really onto something, and this is where the gem of the whole discussion is. And that is, if it's happening, God allows it. Nothing is outside of providence, no matter how heinous it may seem. And if God allows it, then it has to be in conformity with his holy will. What is God's holy will? It's union between creature and creator. So this is the diabolical, this is the deviling, if you will. The division is not the division among ministries and parishes, not the division between men and women, not the division between the races. The division that is diabolical is the division between creature and creator. God's will is union between creator and creature. And the demon acts outside of that. And so whenever the creature is acting in contrast or in conflict with this union with God, now he and the demon are compatible. They're simpatico. They're buddies. They've got something about which to converse. That may be anger at God. That may be a sense of frustrated entitlement. It may be whatever, insert here, but it will involve a certain amount of victimhood, either on behalf of the human or a perceived injustice toward another. But ultimately, the demon will blame God for his own plight, his own doing, and so will the human. That's a very hard psychological compatibility to break. And that's not possession. That's obsession, which leads to possession.